Welcome to the show. The microphone's over here. I didn't even get that. Jesus Christ. All right, let's try this again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to... Fuck me. Fuck me. Welcome to the show. Is that good enough? I don't know. Is that outtakes? Is this going to work? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the show. This is stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am the immortal Kevin Donovan, and I'm here to talk about my DWI Part 2 story. I don't want to get crazy into it. I just want to make a quick video and just fill you guys in about what happened to me. So if you please subscribe to the channel, and when you do, go ahead and go back, check out my DWI stories. I got arrested. I went through the whole story about what happened, you know, the whole experience with that, which was actually fairly smooth. It wasn't fun by any means, but it was smooth. So I went through that whole shebang, and then boy, I got real upset thinking that I was going to go to jail. And I was staring down a Class D felony and 1 to 4 years of jail time. And I was super upset and super scared. And I didn't know what to do. And I actually got on YouTube and I started looking up prison videos, like what's life like in prison. And started watching those videos because I had guaranteed myself in my mind that I was going to go to jail. And I was going to have to spend a year or 2 or 3 in jail for a DWI. And I was so afraid of that, so scared. So what ended up happening was I called my lawyer, Paul Battisti in Binghamton. I actually went to high school with Paul. He's a really nice guy, really good dude, and very, very smart, very, very intelligent person. And I'm glad that I knew him back in the day. You know, luckily we could go to the same high school. He was a grade younger than me, but still a great guy, very good lawyer, very good company. So I called up Paul Battisti and I set up a meeting with him when I went up and we chatted and he's like, yeah, I'll take the case. And he really helped me out. And what the one thing did, the DA and Paul were the judge, the DA, and your lawyer go before court happens, or at least in my case, or the cases that I've seen anyway. When I went and sat in court, the judge, the DA, and the lawyers would go and sit in a separate room, and they'd talk about stuff, and then they'd come out, and then you'd go through the actual, you know, what's the thing. And they had already come to like some sort of agreement, I guess, about what, you know, how this was going to run, or approximately how this was going to go. So Paul comes out to me and he goes, before we even went to the court, Paul's like, listen, man, I got all the evidence. I looked at everything. I'll give you a 50-50 shot. If we try and take this to trial, there's a 50-50 shot I could get you off of this, but there's also a 50% chance that they'll convict you. I can't guarantee something with the way you were acting in the jailhouse and the recording that they do have. And, you know, I said, that one's real iffy. He goes, but, pardon me, my phone was on and it shouldn't be on. The DA, so he was like, I don't know. And I was like, I'm not sure about that either. But the DA was like, well, if you complete the drug court program, we'll drop it from a felony to a misdemeanor. And I'm like, well, it's drug court. So I actually got in. There's a guy that runs the drug court program in Tioga County his name's Jack. I'm not going to put all of their information out there. I don't want to go way deep into this. I don't want to get myself or anybody else into trouble. But Jack runs the drug court program, and I went up for an interview with Jack, and right away I started trying to lie to him, like everybody else. Like it was like what am I trying to say? It's like when you go to the thing and the assessment, the drug and alcohol assessment. Because the last time I did one of those, I got stuck for 9 months going to this stupid program. I didn't want to go. This time, the DA's like, you got to finish this program. And this drug court program is a 1 year, 12-month program where you go and you It's like probation on steroids. They test you regularly, weekly, and you got to check in weekly. And every Monday, you have to go literally to the courthouse, and the judge comes out, black robe, sits on the bench. You sit in the defendant's chair, and you have a conversation with him. And he's actually very nice. It's not a bad thing. I wasn't scared or intimidated. You go and you sit and you talk to the judge, and he's like, "So how's it going? What are you doing? Are you okay?" And he's like, they ask you simple things like, are you employed? Where are you living? How's things going? Is your vehicle working? Do you have a vehicle? Things like that, And you just have a conversation with him. And he's actually very nice. It was actually a good, pleasant experience. There was nothing bad about drug court. It was drug court got split into 3 sections, and there was a writing assignment for section 1, section 2, and section 3. They were pretty extensive writing assignments, but on top of that, you still had to check in, and they required you to go and get some sort of counseling or therapy. And that's when I found my therapist, Barry, and got in and started really doing the mental work that it took to start making real change. But going to group sessions, going to AA, that wasn't my jam. I didn't dig it. But finding a one-on-one counselor, that's what really helped me change and helped me really, open up and be honest about what my situation, what I'm doing, all that jazz. So drug court, as not fun as it is, and as much trouble as you're in when you're there, it's truly meant to help you. And it makes you live obviously sober. You can't be doing drugs and alcohol when you're in drug court because they test you all the time, and they got those P-cup tests that they know what you did and when you did it. Like they're aware, so you can't cheat those things. They even gave me a portable breathalyzer unit that I had to take home, and it went off 4 times a day, and I had to literally breathe into a breathalyzer 4 times a day, and it would go off at certain times. And you can't cheat and go get drunk or go do drugs or do whatever. You can't. They do not give you time in between testing times and sessions to go and do what you want to do or do what you had been doing that was bad for you. So it's pretty intense, but it's fair. It's honest, and it keeps you honest. And there's some people need that kind of structure in their life, and I sure did. And so anyway, after that, a long explanation, I'll get back to when I was in court. They said go through the drug court program, and I agreed to that finally. Went up and did a interview with Jack, and I was lying my ass off to Jack. And finally Jack was like, listen, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather you didn't lie to me. I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm here to help. And honestly, I think you're suffering, and you don't need to live like that anymore. Wow, that was the first time anybody said anything like that to me, and wow, somebody cared? Somebody didn't want to just throw the book at me and get me in trouble. Somebody actually wanted to help me. And right then, a little switch went off in my head, and I said, you know what? Fine, I'm not gonna lie to you anymore. I'm done lying. I'm done with this bullshit. So I just started pouring it out, letting them know, hey man, I drink all the fucking time. I black out all the time. I get wasted, 6 days a week, and I'm drunk 7 days a week, and I'm wasted 6 days a week. I take one day off, and I only have a few drinks and go to bed, and I count that as my not drinking day. I did all kinds of bad things. I drove drunk. I got in scuffles. I wasn't really a fighter, but I definitely involved myself in things I didn't need to be involved in. I was wildly rude and belligerent, and I did a lot of horrible things. And I'm truly sorry for all of those things. There's not there's not much bad behavior that I did that I'm not sorry for now. You know what I mean? Everybody's sorry after the fact, and I really am sorry. But I was tired of living like that, and I was exhausted. I was always tired, and there was no amount of sleep that would fix it, because it's not physically tired when that happens to you. Your soul is tired, and you need to recharge your inner energy, not 12 hours of sleep. Don't get me wrong, I love sleeping that long because I got a super comfortable bed, but it's not your energy level. It's your mentality, and it's the energy in your soul. And just telling Jack that stuff and letting go of that weight. That right there, almost brings a tear to my eye now just talking about it. That was just something that I got that huge weight off my chest, and I dove into drug court. And I even still wanting to get help and not wanting to live that bullshit, going to therapy with Barry, I was still standoffish, and I was still trying to buck the system. And you took away my medicine, and I was pissed. And I still had that ego and denial, and I hadn't broken through that yet. And so therapy didn't go great for the first few times, and drug court was iffy, but I didn't do any drugs. I did quit drinking. I was sober. I didn't break the rules. I did everything they asked me to do. I wasn't happy about it, but I did it. And after a while, I kind of got the rhythm of it, and I kind of got used to living sober and going through the thing. And I went through drug court, and I finished my writing assignments on time. I turned them in. I quit drinking, so I never had a problem with any of the drug tests. I went and met up with Jack, who I would still go and see to this day. I'm not in drug court anymore, but I would still gladly walk up and talk to Jack and shake his hand and say hello, because I really feel that he's one of the better people in my life, and that he really truly helped me. Him and Barry both. I really appreciate them and what they've done for me, and life's a lot better now, and I'm really thankful to them. And I didn't want to go in that program, but I was kind of made to, and it worked out for me. So I went through the program, successfully completed drug court. I got a graduation certificate for phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of drug court. I got certificates for each, and then I got a final, thank you. Final thank you. I got a final certificate for completing from the judge. The judge comes off the bench, hands you the certificate, shakes your hand, and says, "Good job." And that's how that goes. So I was able to complete drug court and get out and get out of that. I was able to complete that successfully. And then the judge took that into account when my sentencing came down, because you finish drug court and then he does the final sentencing after that. So you're pretty much in limbo, court limbo, for a year while you're doing the drug court program. But man, what a wonderful help that was in my life. And a lot of times that the help comes in your life when you don't. It's a blessing in disguise, You don't want to go through that kind of stuff. You don't want to have that help forced upon you or given to you. But sometimes it happens, and it's like, man, I needed that. So I finished drug court, and the judge is like, well, we'll take away the felony and make it a misdemeanor, and we'll go ahead and I'll accept the 1 year that you did of drug court, and we'll accept that as one of the years of probation. So he was going to give me 3 years probation, but he accepted the 1 year of drug court, and he only gave me 2 years of probation. Well, it's 3 because I already did one. You know what I mean? Like he counted it as like almost like time served, because I was being monitored, and I did have to check in with Jack, but I also did have to check in with probation. So I was kind of already on probation a little bit in a way, but it was in the drug court program. But the judge counted that. He's like, yeah, you already did a year, so he only gave me 2 more years probation, which was very, very good of him, very good of the courts, and I've stuck with it this entire time. Legitimately, like I haven't drank, I haven't done any drugs, I don't want to live that life anymore, and that's a personal decision I made. I'd rather not live like that. So everything worked out. It did cost a lot of money. It was very expensive. Paul Battisti, wonderful lawyer, very smart guy, not cheap. He gave me a little bit of a break, but not much. So it was still, he's like, it was still costly to have Paul come in and do the thing. It was, I forget exactly what the numbers were for the court fines, but they were not the cheapest, and there's a lot of them. Also, the DMV is a separate entity when this kind of stuff happens. If you have a drug alcohol offense on your driving record, they automatically charge you a $750 fine, and this is the New York DMV. This has nothing to do with courts, nothing to do with lawyers. This is just them. The DMV is their own animal. So they'll charge you $750, and on top of that, they charge me another $500 something. And because it was my second alcohol offense on my driving record, they charged me an additional $550 or something like that. Just for that, just because it was that offense. So I had to pay the $750 and the $550, and they only give you a certain amount of time to pay that. And then on top of all that, you still got to pay to get your license back. You got to pay to go through the DDP program or the IDP program. You got to pay. That's all out of pocket. You got to complete all that stuff and then turn all that in, and they still charge you to get all your shit back. So because the judge revokes your driving privileges when you go to drug court. Or at least in my case, because it was a second alcohol offense. So I didn't have I had my physical license, which they were supposed to take, but they didn't right away. They did eventually grab it and take it from me, but right away they didn't. So I had my physical license, but the judge is like, you can't drive. Don't drive. Your driving privileges are revoked. And I said, okay. And I didn't get behind the wheel ever. I didn't want to mess with that because somebody else in drug court, same thing. They had their driving privileges removed, and they got caught driving, and they gave them an aggravated driving while having a revoked license or something like that. And they put her in jail. It was a girl. I put her in jail. She came in an orange jumpsuit because she was driving. Now, I didn't get the whole story. They didn't really let in the whole thing. I don't know if she was intoxicated and driving. I don't know if she got in an accident. I don't know what happened. The part that I got was that she was driving and it was aggravated. So usually when it's an aggravated charge when you're driving, it was something else happened. Like it wasn't just, you were doing 5 over the speed limit and they pulled you over. No. When it's aggravated, something went down. There was an issue with what the situation was. So I assume that she was drinking or partying and got pulled over. But I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know that girl's name, so I'm not going to mention it. So I didn't want to go down that route. So I was like, yeah, I ain't driving. I ain't going to get a car. I sold my car. I turned it in. I got rid of the insurance. I got proof for all that. I still have proof for all that. I turned that all into the judge. Said, look, I don't have a vehicle, so I'm not even playing that game. And I didn't. And I did everything they asked me to do. And I'm still talking to Barry to this day, and I don't have to. And I still think therapy is a good idea, and I enjoy doing that. I enjoy getting stuff off my chest. And this is kind of therapy for me right now. Talking to you guys and sharing my story, letting you all know what happened. Hopefully somebody gets something out of this, my story. That's the only thing I could say. DWIs are expensive, and they're not awesome, but sometimes for me they're a blessing in disguise, and it got me to change my thinking and change my reasoning and change mind, change the world, and my world changed when I changed my mind. So things are better, but this DWI was wildly expensive. You got to add in everything, not just the fines and the lawyer and the DMV charges, but it's everything else, like, because you're not driving, so you need to get a taxi, or you need to get somebody else to drive you, and maybe you want to, give them money for gas or buy them food or do something. So charges start racking up more and more and more. And before you know it, if you're paying a buddy some money to drive you, or you're putting gas in somebody else's tank and paying for cabs or Ubers, the transportation cost scoots way up, There's a lot more things that go into a DWI than people realize, so that's why the costs are so wild. It's not that the court charges you, hey, this is your DWI, it's $10,000. They're way less than that. The actual DWI charge is way less than that for the fee of it. They're still pretty expensive, don't get me wrong, it ain't cheap, but the whole entirety of the DWI experience is what's expensive, and it's everything how it impacts your entire life, and how you have to actually pay for all of that stuff is much more expensive than people realize, and it's much more difficult than people realize. So I don't recommend it. Do not drink and drive. Do not do that. Get a ride, get a cab, get an Uber, get a Lyft, get something. Walk, stay with a buddy, stay with a friend. Don't don't get behind the wheel. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's much more worth the extra money and time you're going to spend that night. If you got to wait 45 minutes and pay $75 for a ride, do it. Do it. Much better idea. You might be a little aggravated at that moment, but trust me. That's better. That's a better move. So that's what happened. And right now, so there I was. I got, I decided to go through the drug court program. I did drug court, successfully completed. Judge gave me 2 years probation. I started checking in with Proby, Tioga County Probation Department. They're very fair, very honest people. They didn't mess with me. I didn't mess with them, so they didn't mess with me. I did what I was supposed to do. They did everything they asked me to do, and here we are, coming up on the end of the last year, and hopefully they can, if you do well, and if your record shows that you are behaving yourself and you're living your life how you're supposed to, they can recommend you to their superiors for an early release. And there's some paperwork you got to fill out and stuff you got to do. They don't have to do that, obviously. They keep you the full extent, and if you mess up at all, they violate you, and they keep you as long as they need to. But if you prove to them over time, this is not an instant thing. It takes a year or two to do it. If you could prove to them that you're living your life the right way and you're making the right decisions and you're not a flight risk and you're not going to do crazy shit, they might let you go early. And I am on that track where I have not messed up. I haven't been doing anything wrong. I've been living my life the right way, and these were all personal choices I made. I wasn't just like, oh, I'm in trouble, I better do that. I myself was like, hey, Kevin, buddy, let's get your shit together. You're in your early 40s. Let's get your shit together. It's time to live like a regular adult. So I did, and I've been living that way, and I'm grateful for living that way. And my life is a lot easier that way, and I'm a lot more happy with my life, and I'm a lot more fulfilled with my life, and things are just a lot better. Just the way I'm living now. And, it took years. It took therapy. It took a lot of soul searching. It took the courts. It took a judge. It took a therapist. It takes a lot, but once you put in the work, you put in the effort, and you do the things you're supposed to do, things work out in the end. Everything was a blessing in disguise. So here I am coming to the end of my probation, looking forward to getting off probation, but honestly, I don't plan on living any different. I don't plan on doing anything wild. I'm not gonna just get off proby and then just party time or go. I don't plan on doing any of that. I'm gonna literally do exactly what I'm doing now, and this is the way I plan on living. So you never know what the future holds. You never know what's gonna happen in the future. You can never say never, but I plan on living the way I'm living now because I'm happy with it, and things are going really well. So there's no reason to change. There's no reason to deviate from what I'm doing. I enjoy going to therapy and getting stuff off my chest. I enjoy living clean. I enjoy not having to worry about the nonsense that comes with drinking. I enjoy living how I'm living. So that's pretty much my plan. That's how I'm going to do it. Whether anybody believes me or not, I don't give a shit. So life's good, and this is how I'm going to keep going. So hopefully proby will end soon. Hopefully I'll be off, but I'll also be doing the same thing I'm doing now, living clean. So that's what happens to you, and it's really expensive, and it's really a chore, and this has taken me almost 3 years to get through. The first one took a year. This one's taken 3 years, and I don't plan on getting a third one. 3 strikes, you're out, boy. That's going to be jail time for mandatory, and I don't want to do that. So, like I said, I want to live clean anyway, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. I don't plan on doing any of those things. But that's a story, That's how it worked out for me anyway. So hopefully somebody gets something out of this. Don't drink and drive. Don't make those same bad choices I made. Make better choices. Do better for yourself. Life will be better. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Is it there? It's somewhere in the thing. Hit that notification bell. That helps me out. Please leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to hear. I'll talk about more stuff later. I will try and I'm always on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on the Twitter, the Tweety. Hit me up. Leave a message. Tell me hi. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you love me. Tell me if you hate me. I don't care. Tell me something. Trying to grow the channel. Do your best to help me out as much as you can. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. And I will catch you guys on the flip side with another story. Story time's coming up next. I appreciate all y'all watching. Peace.